Hello, welcome all. We're going to jump right in with a game called CrossCode, and it's also my first video. Welcome all, my name is Pythalien, and like I said before, this game is called CrossCode. It came out, or at least I started playing it a couple of years ago now, I reckon. It's still in development currently, but I really like this game. I think it's great. It's similar to the original Legend of Zelda games, in that it's top-down and it focuses on puzzles and quests, adventure and combat, which we're jumping right into now actually. So this is basically just a tutorial, this first bit, but I'm going to play through it anyway, because this character that's carrying on screen is important to the plot. This isn't actually your main character, but she does seem to have some kind of link or connection to the main character, and so that's why I'm just playing this bit here. Right now we're being introduced to the different elements within CrossCode, which are heat, cold, shock and wave, which I think is a nice redux on the classic fire, earth, air and water. I think it's good to shake it up once in a while, at least that's just my personal opinion. I know that the classic, the traditional four elements were based on humans' previous knowledge of the world around us, but like I said before, I think it's good to shake things up once in a while. And what you just witnessed there was a special move which you'll be able to unlock, or you'll be able to unlock similar things, I should say, later on in the game as well, with that different character that we're going to play. Right now though, Shizuka, the character's called, has just found her brother, who's been working on this project for the mysterious man that's been popping up in the dialogue. So let's just take a look at this. So basically he's just been working on this project for that mysterious man, like I said, and he's also terminally ill, it would appear, and that work was just draining his energy, and so now he has just passed, which is very sad, although when he fell off his chair I thought it was kind of comic the first time I saw it. But yes, welcome to CrossCode. I'm going to have a lot of fun playing this, and I hope you guys will have a lot of fun watching this. That planet you just saw, the bigger one, we don't actually get to go to as of yet. We just stay on that moon, and that's where the game takes place. Now, we should be jumping in with the main character of the story. Here we go. Her name is Leah, and like all good games, she is a silent protagonist, or near silent protagonist. The excuse that they give in this particular case is that because she's an avatar of in a game world, she has lost her voice module, and so that's why she can't talk, and so this guy popping up in the dialogue, Sergey, will eventually hard code like small words and phrases into your vocabulary, like hi and Leah, your name, and so on and so forth, so that you can begin to interact with some of the NPCs and other avatars throughout the game. Now, when I say NPCs and things like that, I mean they're actually NPCs in the game. So whilst we're playing this game in real life, it's like Leah herself is playing in a separate game, so it's like a game within a game. Indeed. Yes, so here we meet Carla. We'll see her a little later on the island, which we're going to view in a little bit from the front of the ship that we're on. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologise if you can hear the change in audio quality. I actually did the first part yesterday, and I'm recording this new part whilst my flatmate is out. He's a great guy, bless him. But yeah, I'm not nearly confident enough to record whilst he's here, so that's why I'm doing it now. Currently we're doing the second part of the tutorial, which is kind of getting to grips with projectiles, I guess. So that part with Shizuka was teaching us about melee fighting, and now we're learning about fighting with what they call VRPs, virtual ricochet projectiles, aka balls. So whilst I'm flinging these balls far and wide, yeah, I'm also getting to grips with like the concepts and things like that of the different games. Like I said, it is focused on puzzles. It's very puzzle based, and you can just see it's totally on the wrong level there. So I need to climb up onto that box and hit these last couple of toggle switches, and I can proceed to the next room. Fantastic. What lies in store for here? Aha! Now these ones, you have to hit multiple times, as you just saw, but as I'm discovering here, it's kind of hard to, you can't do that with the charged projectiles, the big ones. They're the only ones that bounce, and you can't shoot those in rapid succession. So I had to go over there to be able to free the barriers so that I could get through. And that's another room down. Fantastic. Here we are kind of introduced to enemies, but they're not really enemies. They don't fight back. So basically they just run and I murder them. But they're robots, so I'm not actually harming anything. Now all of these enemies, and Leah herself is made of this stuff called instant matter. You can kind of see the particles of everything like flying around. It's called instant matter. It's like this virtual programmable matter. So none of this is real. I'm not too sure about Carla, if she's made of instant matter or if she's real. I know she's an NPC, but I don't know if the NPCs are like paid actors or something, or if they're also part of the AI. Because later on we do see there's a instant matter bomb, I guess, and it just destroys everything that's virtual on the ship. But it doesn't seem to destroy the NPCs, so it is a strange one. I'm not sure I figured that one out yet. But yeah, it is kind of confusing having this being a game inside a game. But yes, okay, so now we are on to the next room. This one will involve some more combat, but you can see on the floor there are these numbers, and there were some in the previous room as well. You just have to complete them in different waves. So if there's a single number on the floor, that means it's just one wave, and if there's multiple ones, there are multiple waves, which is kind of self-explanatory. Here we're introduced to some new enemies, which are kind of like spinning top things. Later on I'll try and find out the names of those enemies, because everything does have a name. You can kind of pause the game later on and hover over everything and like interact with a magnifying glass kind of tool, and it'll tell you about different things like the enemies, their levels, their weaknesses and whatnot, which is very useful later on with the introduction of elements. Right at the start of the game was Shizuka when she was fighting those cold-based enemies. I don't know if you saw, but there were some yellow arrows next to the numbers, next to the damage that I was dealing. And that's because every single enemy is different, which I just love about this game. Every single enemy has a different attack pattern. So they will be weaker to certain things, like all the different enemies will have different weak points. So for example, the cold-based enemies were weak to heat in that particular case. Sometimes they're more vulnerable to melee, or they are, you have to kind of charge them up. Later on we'll go to a desert area, and we'll have to, but that's really later on, and we'll have to kind of charge them up with fire, which means that they then use fire attacks, but they're also, that lowers their defense as well as raising their attack. So yeah, I mean that's another thing I just love about this game. Everything does feel unique and kind of new as well, even though it is on the classic Zelda game format, I guess. Which I also love. I do love RPGs and exploration. I don't know if you guys have heard of the gamer types. There's these various theories about the 4 different types of gamers, and I believe everybody's all of them to certain extents, but you're more 1 or 2 than the others. So I think the 4 are Achiever, Explorer, Griefer, and socializer, something like that. I'm the majority explorer and partial achiever as well, so I do like exploring these different worlds and getting all the achievements and stuff. The griefer and socializer, they prefer multiplayer games. So with the achievement and exploration types, it's a lot more acting and interacting with the world, but with the griefer and socializer, it's acting and interacting with players. The griefers like to act upon players, and socializers like to interact with players. So griefers, also known as killers, the way they play the game is not necessarily a bad thing, unless it hurts the other person, at least in my opinion. I do know some people get a kick out of it though. But things like Rust, where the object of the game is to destroy other people's bases, is totally acceptable in that context, I think, and that's what makes it great. So yeah, like I said before, they're also known as killers. So PvP games, any PvP games like Trouble in Terrorist Town or The Hunger Games or Call of Duty, for example, anything like that, they'll be designed with killing as the main aspect, but there'll also be things like different maps for people to explore and different achievements for the achievers, and you can chat online for the socializers. So the idea of them is that you're supposed to balance all the different types just to the right kind of audience that you're playing for, and none of these gamer types are inherently better or worse than any of the others, and I think people should be celebrated because of their differences, so that's really great. And the final gamer type, socializers, of course, like to interact with other players, so they like to make friends, build together, destroy things together, kill things together. So that's a lot more multiplayer games are more their type of thing. Here it's just saying that this is a massively multiplayer online game. That's the game within the game. The actual game itself is single player. Later on you do discover parties, and you can add some people to your party, which are NPCs in the CrossCode game, but within the Cross Worlds game, the game within the game, they are players like you, avatars. But yes, anyway, that's all I have time for in this video, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly had fun playing that tutorial again. It was nice to get back to the roots of the game, I guess. But yes, please do like, subscribe, comment, feel free to praise or criticize in whichever way you see fit. Anyway guys, I hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you later. Bye!